Chapter 2, we are reading and talking about government, law, and ethics. 3 branches of the federal government are legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The purpose in having 3 different ones is separation of powers. That way no one sector has too much power. The executive branch administers and enforces the law. The legislative branch enacts laws that can amend or repeal existing legislation, or they can create new legislation. The judicial branch is made for, or they resolve disputes in accordance with the law. There's not very much more about the judicial branch. But then I keep reading. So not only does the federal government have their branch, but each state of the United States has its own court system also. Page 19, the figure does a great job at breaking down our Constitution. That would be a good, and it kind of tells you what sector goes with what branch. It's a good overview from whether you had a history class so far here at Barton, or maybe you've had one in high school, or it's just a good review. So yeah. Okay, page 20, separation of powers. The concept is a system of checks and balances as illustrated in the relationships among the branches of government with regard to legislation. Again, just nobody having that final say or the ultimate say. That's our democracy there. Page 21 talks about the Department of Health and Human Services, and this is who regulates people, if you will. This is a huge auditor or regulator for healthcare. DHHS actually will come into facilities and do unannounced visits and look and ask for paperwork and ask for patient feedback and such as that. So this department of our U.S. government is concerned with the people. And page 21 has a great figure that breaks down what they do and who they work with. It is also the main source of regulations affecting the healthcare industry. DHHS is. I'm flipping the page. So page 22 is all of these are regulated by DHHS. You can read those. I'm not going to read them to you. There's some good information in there though. So when we talk about sources of law, starting on page 23, tort and contract is mentioned. There are 2 basic types of private law. In tort action, a party asserts that the wrongful conduct of another has caused harm and injured a party. They seek compensation for the harm that was suffered. A contract action usually involves a claim by one party that another party has breached an agreement by failing to fulfill an obligation. I could give you a few examples, but I want to focus on what the chapter is covering. I can always come back to this in another video. Page 23 references common law, and I found some of this information to be just interesting in the fact that we get a lot of our common law from the English. Let me read it to you because I'm going to mess it up. Common law refers to the body of principles that evolve and expand from judicial decisions that arise during the trial of court cases. Many legal principles and rules that are applied in our United States courts today got their origins in English common law. Because a law will never cover every potential human event, the judicial system has mechanisms regarding writing law as issues occur and changing law. And then this was neat with as far as the history, but during the colonial period when English common law began to apply, some municipalities or parishes did not adopt it. They chose French and Spanish laws above the English law. So like Louisiana, civil law within the states, very different than other states in the United States. There's not a single way to do law in the United States. There's no common law that's the exact same. All right, so page 24 talks about statutory law. Then there's administrative law. You guys, I could pick out my favorite parts of this, but I want you to read it. Let me know if you have any questions, of course, about any of this. Government ethics. There's a lot of good reading here, and I really like the quotes that were shared throughout this chapter. So as you read and you go through this information, please let me know if you have any questions. I will be more than happy to answer them. good luck with the quiz. I think the quiz is pretty straightforward this week. Political malpractice is also mentioned, page 28. What else can I tell you? Oh, it goes into what happened with, and this is the political malpractice section, in Flint, Michigan with water. Anyway, so that's it. I just didn't feel like reading this to you. Please let me know if you want me to, if it helps to hear it said out loud. Otherwise, just use this this chapter as just a review. You may know some of this already, like I said, from previous history classes with the Constitution and the government. But anyway, hope you guys have a good week. Message me if you need anything.